How to keep the conversation flowing and avoid awkward silence? First of all, I want you to understand that a pause here and there on a date is a must, because a pause gives you a chance to actually smile, to flirt, to change your body position, to change the topic, to ask a question, to order a cup of coffee. So pauses should be there on a date. A good date is not necessarily a date with no moments of silence. Actually, it is vice versa. If one believes that all moments of silence, all pauses are awkward on a date, usually this is the signal that one has low self-esteem and one needs to work on his confidence. Some people really have this fear that if he or she will stop talking, or for example, his date will stop talking, then this will be the moment when his date will actually stand up and leave. Guys, pauses are important parts of dialogues. They are as important as an open body posture, as the smile, as your body language, as flirting on a date. Don't rush into filling every moment of your date with the sound of your voice or with the question. I know that there are lots of dating tips and advice that you should ask questions on a date, that a question is a good way to get to know your date better and it shows interest, but people take this advice a little bit too extreme. They start interrogating their dates. They shoot a question after question and they don't bother to listen to the answer. They don't flirt, and all they're thinking about is that if there will be a moment of silence, it will be awkward. But what if this awkwardness is only in your head? What if your date actually needs a moment of silence to change the topic, to smile, to flirt with you, to breathe, to think about the next question to ask you? Because it can happen that she is sitting there and thinking, oh, should I ask him this, or should I order a glass of wine and maybe I will ask him this after a glass of wine when I build up some courage. And she is already flirting with you in her head, but instead you shoot a question after question and you stop this flirting process and she feels interrogated. I'm sure you had this feeling after some dates when you have exchanged lots of meaningless facts about each other. They are meaningless because without the context, when you don't really know each other well, it makes zero sense why, for example, she liked this subject at school, or why, for example, she liked this food or this book. And you have given so many different types of tiny bits of information about yourself, and you are overwhelmed with all this information and you feel tired. And you did feel tired because, well, she was thinking about that glass of wine. Should she ask you this? Should she ask you that? She has started flirting with you at first in her head and with her eyes, and you were asking her, are you an overachiever? Have you ever been to Mexico? Are you a cat or a dog person? What are you doing? Why are you shooting her with these questions? You want the conversation to flow? Show up on the date with the right mood, with the right attitude, which means you are genuinely curious to get to know a woman in front of you, not to label her as she is too old, not beautiful enough, I can do better, etc., etc. You really want to get to know her better. Don't turn your date into interrogation when you try to dig those red flags. We all have our faults. I'm not asking you right now to close your eyes and jump into it blindly, no. But when you look for faults, you will find them and you won't enjoy the dates. You will dismiss all the positive qualities, features that the lady might have because you are looking for faults. Also, if you want the conversation to flow, if you want to avoid awkward pauses, start dating women that are actually looking for your type. You would be surprised how much more enjoyable and easier it is to date women who are actually interested in you. Because when you keep chasing women who have very little interest in your type, for example, you only want to pursue women who are way younger, 15, 20 years younger, and their interest is, well, to go to that fancy sushi place or to go to this fancy restaurant. They're not interested in you as a person, and of course you feel it. and you feel tired and disappointed date after date. And of course, the conversations, they are awkward. So instead, start investing your time into someone who can appreciate you. And you will be surprised, because when two people actually invest effort, invest time, energy, curiosity, they try to be creative about the date, they think which questions to ask, how to flirt, how to make him like me, make her like me, the date, it's just different. The conversation feels different, because two people try to make this dance happen. Because when you keep looking for someone who can't choose you back, for example, you live in the small town, but you keep approaching women with really glamorous photos, and you understand that your lifestyle is way too different, what type of conversation can you build? Don't tell me right now that opposite attracts, etc., etc. No, you have totally different lifestyles, goals, values, etc. Of course, you can't build a flowing conversation and meaningful connection with someone who is way too different and is not looking for your type. But when you start choosing the right type of women, magic happens. Wow, actually dating is fun and enjoyable, and you see that she is making effort, she is texting first, she is giving you compliments, she is present on the date, she is actually listening to what you are saying. How to keep the conversation flowing and avoid awkward silence? Don't forget that this is the date, not a job interview. You're not selling something, you're not meeting with your buddies, you're not meeting with your mom, which means the conversation should be flirty. You have to flirt, you have to choose flirty topics, you have to choose flirty jokes, and some jokes that are okay for your buddies, for your brother, they won't work on the first or second date or ever. You should avoid awkward stories or strange stories or complicated topics like politics, religion, money, diseases, especially if we are talking about the first, second, third date. It's not the time for this. However, if you're on a date and you believe that a pause is getting really awkward and you want to kill this pause, you can actually kill it with the question, but which one? Ask her, what is your idea of a really good second date? For example, right now you're having your first date. So what is your idea of a really good second date? And for example, she tells you that, oh, I really enjoy walking through the park or walking down the beach and then going and having lunch. And you can tell her, wow, this is exactly what we should do for our second date. Let's choose the beach, or let's choose the route, or let's choose the place where we should have lunch. Don't be afraid to make some plans, dating plans for your second date in the middle of your first date. First of all, when you talk about the date, it's always a flirty topic, because you can't talk about the date with your boss, with your colleague, with your neighbor. You can talk about the date only with the woman whom you actually intend to ask on a date. And you're already making some plans, you're discussing what she likes about the second date, what you like, you learn more about each other, and this is the safe romantic zone, you're not killing the vibes. Or for example, you can ask her about her dreams, and you can share your dreams. You can tell her that I dream to meet a really special lady, because I'm at this stage of my life when I have a job I really enjoy, or my business that I love, I have my friends, I have my son, for example, I have an apartment I always wanted to have in the area I always wanted to have, and I have my hobbies. The only thing that is missing is romantic love, and this is what I really want to achieve. And what do you dream to have in your life? How this on a date are a good thing if you use them as an opportunity to flirt and to change your tactic. Because when people show up on a date and start interrogating each other with questions, usually they sit in the same posture the whole date, very stiff position, uncomfortable position. They sit in front of each other, they look at each other, and they talk, question after question. And when the date is over, you know, they feel relieved, like, wow, it's finally over. And of course, there is no chemistry, no butterflies. And you know what? They don't want a second date. Not because the dating partner was wrong, very often because the whole approach to the date, the whole process was wrong. Instead, if there was a pause, it might have given you an opportunity to actually change the pose, move a little bit, And your date, she can mirror you, because if you sit more relaxed, you change your posture, she can also change her posture and be more relaxed, which is a good sign on a date. Also, if you are afraid of pauses, stop thinking that a woman in front of you is a goddess on a pedestal and you have to talk to her all the time, you have to entertain her the whole time, or she has to be talking the whole time, or otherwise the date will be over. No, it is not so. She is just a human being, and just like you, she has her own fears, expectations, hopes, and hopefully just like you, she wants this date to happen. Guys, I hope it was useful, and I hope you will use some tips that I have shared with you in this video. If you like this video, now is the time to press like, to subscribe to this channel. Of course, you can support us by becoming a sponsor if you like the content that we create for you. If you are interested in a complimentary consultation with a matchmaker, or you want to learn more about our matchmaking process and coaching process, you can fill in the form below this video. And like always, your questions, your comments, your thoughts are more than welcomed in the comments below. My name is Svetlana Mucha. I'm the founder and the leading matchmaker and dating coach at Diolli.com, boutique matchmaking service. I'm filming this one for you with love in Barcelona, Spain.